You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, and good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you this morning, and I'm glad that you are with us live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. Also CKLU streaming online. You just go there, you click on the Radio Player Canada app logo, and you can stream us. You can also download the Radio Player Canada app, take us with you anywhere, anytime, listen to us on your favorite device. We are CKLU. We've been around since 1984, broadcasting originally from the original campus location of Laurentian University from a small trailer, and now we're located in the old Telegraph building, which is now part of the new MacEwan's School of Architecture, all under the umbrella of Laurentian University. It's your campus and community radio station, and we're also streaming live on Facebook.com/Sudbury News and YouTube.com/Sudbury News. Glad to be here with everyone this morning. And it's going to be a great show as usual. However, better today than usual, actually. So it'll be better today. I guarantee it. I just have to turn off the volume here on my monitor so we don't have feedback. And just want to welcome, thank, first of all, the Facebook, YouTube moderators for the job that they do each and every day. And we do our best to adhere to the community standards of those two platforms. And you do definitely have a hard job to do, and I do not envy you one bit. And so again, thank you for you, and thanks for the platforms. And good morning. We have with us this morning Nick and Billy. We have two co-hosts with us this morning, so I'd like to welcome them to first. Nick, how are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. You know what? I feel like today's show is going to be better than yesterday too. I don't know. I'm just feeling today's going to be a really good day. Do you think by thanking the media moderators that it's like, do you think they're real people?
Yeah, I think they have a combination. They have AI, and they also have people that are over, that, right? So they have departments, moderator departments, and little, if they have enough flags, like let's say a show comes in and has 72 flags in 2 days, then you're going to get a real eyeball or eyeballs on it, and they're going to say, what's going on here? So if I am I just think they're watching it, and so I know that. Why wouldn't I somehow have some communication with a real person in some way and actually thank them for the job they have, because it really isn't easy to do. How do you determine what should be in university? I said, you just let the internet be. And if they break laws, let the police get involved, and then that's the way it can be monitored. But no, the professor and everybody said, no, you need to have these strict rules and ban people and cancel people because you can't say anything wrong and hurt someone's feelings on the internet. It's wrong. I said, oh, yeah, and once you start that, good luck with that one. Who determines these things? So it's a real person who determines it. So I'd like to actually interact with a real person and let them know I'm a real person too. You're a real person. We're trying to do the right thing here together. Let's all kind of get along in this world, kind of thing, right?
All right.
I see Billy nodding a bit there, so I don't know if he agrees with that.
I like that. No, I like that. And definitely at least the spirit of it. I think you're probably. I think I would agree with what you say, but it's people in the system that change it. So when they have sort of like a mandate or orders from above, their little decisions kind of, it might be just a little decision, but it might sort of steer the ship, 1 degree this way, but 10 miles down the road, it's going to be 1,000 feet. So
it's true. I guess like sometimes I'm just angry. So I just like share my angry opinion, and then that attracts more anger. So, you're actually attracting that. That's an emotion is also a vibration. So I guess being grateful, even though you don't think we necessarily need these, I personally don't think we need these mediators, especially online, but to appreciate them, it's kind of almost like blessing. Is that my phone? Your phone?
I don't know. I just heard a loud ding in my ears, and I'm looking at my phone now. I don't see anything on it, but who knows?
Anyway,
who knows?
Yes, we should all, even though you don't like something, we should still appreciate it and send it love.
And that's true. And there are a lot of people in the world that are looking for division, right? And we don't want to bite on that bait too much. I see Billy nodding.
We don't want to fall into the trap.
Yeah, no, I see the world kind of like in, it has a big sort of resonant tuning fork effect. So if you're, like you say, Nick, you're sending that out, it's going to activate that in other places,
Yeah.
I agree,
it's okay.
guys.
I think we need to be frustrated too. And we also need to vocalize it. But then again, that's why conversations are great, because conversations aren't just sound bites, and they aren't just Twitter, so many characters long, and you can actually start by being frustrated, say why you're frustrated, and then in the conversation you can then explain it, and it comes around full circle. You ever get in a heated argument with someone, but it ends up you're giving someone a hug at the end? You ever in one of those ever in your life?
Because most of us are reactive, Well,
Exactly.
if something's happening, there's an event that's happening, we're reactive, and then all of a sudden our mind and heart is like, okay, let's think about this.
For sure. Yeah. So again, right, that's the great thing about discussion, long form discussion, more points of view than just one, allowing everything to kind of take place. So we become more we're forced into echo chambers in our society to just kind of be divided and just be among your clan or your group based on all kinds of things. But anyways, so no, we don't want to do that. And that's why I do thank the Facebook and YouTube moderators, because I don't know them, for one. If I did, we probably could be best friends for all I know, right? So it's not like there's no animosity there. I've never been communicated to by YouTube or Facebook, by the way. They've never sent me an actual message saying, hey, this is what we think about your show, and you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. A lot of people on shows say that they are communicated to. So I'm just grateful even for that so far we've talked about a lot of controversial things, and they haven't said, hey, if you say that one more time, you're going to be shut down, which have happened to a lot of people, right? So I'm really grateful for that as well.
Because is it Bill C10 that might be passing? And that's why we need to collect some emails, because this show may not exist for ever.
Yeah. So we'll just have to have it on our website.
On our to-do list.
And who even knows if that'll even be allowed to continue. However, we'll just do whatever we can in the meantime. In the meantime, too, good morning, Vin. He's with us this morning. Thanks for being with us. I hope you're having a marvelous day, a wonderful day. Judy as well. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. And as usual,
it's so nice to see the regulars coming on the show. It's just really nice to see you guys comment. It makes us feel, gives us a smile.
It's like getting together. You know how back in the day, good morning, David, as usual, stay safe for sure. You get together. I guess you see a lot of retired people do that because they have time. They'll get together in the morning for coffee.
They go to Tim Hortons?
It's a group of friends. And it's kind of like that. You get together each morning and you just have a discussion. And what are you doing? That's basically a podcast in real time. You're discussing all the issues that you find important locally and in the country and in the world, right? You're solving all the world's problems.
To that podcast. I should get my dad to bring like a camera and a recorder and be like, Dad, what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, I think that
my dad would just take over the show.
Exactly.
And then people are like, oh, and Nick, this is your father. Okay, this makes complete sense. Yeah,
well, I just wanted to go through some of the things we'll be talking about today before we head into the weather, because I think it's kind of cool today. It's going to be a unique show, everyone. So just hang in there. We're going to have some really great stuff. I'll share my full screen here. I figured out a way to share my full screen until they're able to take this away, or if they change the way that it works. But I just figured it out. Here is a picture of our favorite Dominic Giroux, now the CEO of our hospital, soon to be leaving for another mission in life in Ottawa. Lots of sunshine for civil servants in Sudbury, Ontario. So people that made the sunshine list in Sudbury, the top people, that's going to be juicy. The traffic reduced on the Bridge of Nations in Sudbury because they are doing construction. It's that's going to be, I think, a nightmare. So repairs on the Paris Street Bridge of Nations will begin Monday, April 3rd, and will continue for a long time. So not going to be a fun summer there. And Nick loves this particular headline and going to have a wonderful time with this. Sudbury makes top 10 list for best Canadian cities to survive zombie apocalypse. Yeah, it's a real headline, guys. That is from Northern Ontario CTV, by the way. That's not from some obscure whatever website. Evidence against Sudbury murder suspect overwhelming, the Crown tells the jury. And then we have a nice, fun little video. Speaking of it's going to be a wildlife fun video, but we have a lynx that was injured that we're helping here. And I've seen a wild lynx once, and they are just majestic and really cool. Anyways, so these are the headlines we'll be talking about. But first, we'll dive right into the weather and sports, and we'll be back right after that with these headlines. Billy and Nick after this. We'll be right back. As soon as I find the intro. There we go. All right, currently it is -9, but it feels like -14. Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Today, we can expect mainly cloudy, 30% chance of flurries, really, this morning. High of +2, wind chill -11 this morning. Tonight, cloudy, becoming partly cloudy this evening. The wind chill will be -13 overnight. Tuesday, mainly cloudy. Wind becoming southwest, 20 kilometers late in the afternoon. High of +4. Wind chill -14. That is for tomorrow. Looking at your long range, as we said tomorrow already. Wednesday, flurries, at times heavy. That's not good. So, yeah, at times heavy. It's always when I'm driving. I have to make a long commute on Wednesdays and Fridays usually. And as you can see, Wednesday, flurries heavy at time. Wednesday, sunny on Thursday when it doesn't matter to me driving. And then Friday, periods of snow or rain, high of 4. Saturday, flurries, chance of flurries 60%, high of -1. Cloudy on Sunday, high of +2. And Monday, chance of rain or showers, 60%. High of +4. So a lot of predicted precipitation in many different forms for the area. Here's a look at your satellite over Northern Ontario, and that is your Sudbury weather for the people on the radio. A lot of clearing and some clouds just kind of rolling by. So it'll be a mixture. Just pay attention to your weather app or whatever to keep on top of things. That's your Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with a little bit of sports and then headlines with Nick and Billy right after this. All right, and the Sudbury Five, although they're not in action until April 1st, this Saturday, they've added another player to their roster. They're pleased to announce the signing of center Dave Bell to bolster their lineup as they get set to head into a busy April. Bell is 6'10". He's a forward from Cleveland, Ohio, brings a wealth of experience and talent to the team. And Bell said, basically, I am definitely excited to join the Five. It's going to be lit. And I can't wait to get out there and play with the guys. They're definitely going for the championship this year. So whatever they can do to help their team to get better, to make sure that they get this championship, they're going for it this year. The London Lightning will definitely be their adversary, but they've beat them now twice. And so that's pretty incredible. And they are in first place. So the Sudbury Five will return to action at home Saturday, April 1st, where Bell is expected to make his debut with the team. Fans are encouraged to come out and support the Five as they take on the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. 7:05 is tip-off. It's a doubleheader weekend as the Five also hit home court on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. once again against the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. Tickets are on sale now, Sudbury Arena box office, and online at greatersudbury.ca/tickets. Speaking of tickets, you got your Sudbury Wolves making the playoffs against the Peterborough Petes, and they are in action this Thursday night in Peterborough. They are here on Tuesday, so for 2 games down in Peterborough, catch both of those games right here on CKLU. Then they're back in town. Get your tickets for the Sudbury Wolves for the Tuesday, April the 4th, and Wednesday, April the 5th. So it's going to be a grueling 2 days, playoff hockey back to back, but you can be there, and it's pretty exciting stuff. Also, Sudbury Cubs took the game last night against the Espanola Paper Kings. Their series was 2-1, but now it's 3-1 now that Sudbury came away with that win. That's your Sudbury Sports, brought to you by that Sudbury Sports guy, Randy Pascal, on his website, SudburySports.com. We'll be back with headlines and Nick and Billy right after this. So I don't know about all y'all, but are you interested in who's making the Sunshine List this go around in Greater Sudbury, or no? Is this something that interests you?
It's not one of my top 10, but
yeah.
Billy, look, Billy's right on the top here.
I wish.
Yeah, I guess I'm not as outraged as like a lot of people are.
Okay.
Some of them seem like a little bit high, but in general, if you have people making a couple 100,000, especially if they're in an institution like, say, where they have it's a really big ship with a lot of responsibility.
For sure, yes. So Dominic,
Billy is so positive. And are you ever outraged, Billy?
Oh yes.
Oh, all right.
He just does it in secret. He has an enraged room. He actually just purchased it. You go in there and you can't hear the sound, so he screams in there and he smashes things, and no one even knows what he's doing.
This is actually happening, guys. This is actually a true thing.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple more people joining us here this morning. So Wade, holy cow, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Wade Hine, good friend of mine. Pass It On Undercoating. Started that business from scratch. Best undercoating you can get in the city. He uses an environmentally friendlier solution, which is made from lanolin, which comes from sheep's wool. So if you want to be environmentally conscious with your undercoating, you can go to Pass It On Undercoating. And Wade Hine, tell him AJ sent you from Sudbury News. He'll treat you really well, I'm sure.
So,
Diane, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Bon matin, Aaron and Nick and Billy. Well, thank you for that.
People are making $800,000 a year. $800,000 a year. Like, how much responsibility are you? Here's the thing. Are they even held accountable? Like, if you were held accountable and you could get sued and lose your house, then okay, you could make this money. But I bet you all these people are protected.
Protected.
I'm with you on that.
Well, that they still get their pension. Like if you're a criminal or, your business, Laurentian, got bankrupt, like that should be part of your job description, that if something big like that happens, you do not get your pension. Their pension is going to be like $500,000 a year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to comment on that, but I just want to say good morning to Lem. And I guess you noticed I had a haircut. So thank you for noticing. I really appreciate that. And my brother did my hair. My brother is my personal trainer and my hairstylist. So I'm really grateful for him. And good morning, Randy. Thank you for being with us this morning. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we're talking about the Sunshine List, just right out of the Sudbury Star, hot off the presses on the internet. Guess who's on the top of the list, guys? Take a wild guess. Top of the list.
Ontario Health.
Something to do with healthcare, obviously. Ontario's
Wasn't the
so-called
hydro. I thought it was the hydro.
Well, we'll see. So, and Nick says it's someone to do with health, and Billy says it's someone to do with hydro. So let's see who's able. Ontario's so-called sunshine list is out, and the 3 top paid public employees in the province are all at Ontario Power Generation. Billy,
Ontario Power.
Where's
OPG.
Billy gets that. So.
Oh, I think I'm wrong. I don't think they make 800,000. I think
and Nick
all of
gets
them
this.
together. And I'm wrong.
Sorry. Okay. The disclosure of public sector workers in Ontario who are paid more than 100,000. That is the sunshine list. It doesn't make as much back in the day when 100,000 was a bigger deal, like with inflation and everything. It's not that big a deal, but still, hey, there's not that. It's not the norm to make over $100,000. Believe you me, most people make under that. Kenneth Hartwick, CEO of Electricity Crown Corporation, is again at the top spot with a salary of a little more than $1.7 million.
That's his salary?
Yeah, $1.7 million. 2 other executives at the organization made nearly $1.7 million. So there's three of them making $1.7 million.
Whoa, guys, like people can't even afford their electricity right now.
I know, but they're giving us a rebate paid for by our tax dollars.
Yeah, and you could make the same, I think, argument in the sports world, right? Like some players, like Wayne Gretzky, gets way too much money. Like he gets a lot of money compared to other players.
No, these are people choose to go watch hockey. These are fans who choose to play hockey and buy tickets and buy gear. This is something that people need to survive. We have no choice but to buy electricity.
I know.
It's kind of like that talent,
there's no talent
competition.
Here, Billy.
Well, this is the idea. Maybe there isn't, but if somebody's got a really good, say, track record of something.
What's his track record?
Well, I have no idea. I'm just saying this is generally the idea.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah. And have you ever heard these guys that lied about their resume and they got in to be CEOs? Like they said they went to Harvard and all this stuff and they became CEOs of corporate, and then they found out that was just it was embellished and it wasn't true.
Oh yeah, you don't have to convince me. There's a lot of crap.
I've lied on my resume.
Yeah. Okay, and that's
I've had over like 42 different jobs. You think I put that on my resume? It's just like no, it all flowed very nicely.
And Randy's saying, and that's us that pay that, right? So consumers, taxpayers, depending if you're public or private sector, either way, we're paying their salary. So now getting a little closer to home, who in Sudbury do you think tops the list of most paid people in Sudbury? Do you get any guesses on that?
I don't want to guess because I glanced through that article, so I think I remember who it is.
Is it the picture of the guy? Dominic Giroux?
Hey, and Billy would have said the same thing, I'm sure. So.
No, I wouldn't have said Giroux.
Oh, no, Billy! No. Oh, who are you?
I thought it was Penny Sutcliffe, or is that?
That was last year. That was last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and do you remember how much Penny Sutcliffe made? It was either in 2021. I think it was 2021. Do you remember how much she made?
It's weird how they broke it down.
But all together?
Like they broke it down over a couple of years or something like that. I remember the figure 800,000. I don't know if that was accurate for the 1 year.
Yeah, over $800,000. Penny Sutcliffe from, I forget, they keep changing the name of it, Public Health, Sudbury or whatever. So Dominic Giroux was the top earner among provincial civil servants in Sudbury. Yeah, so provincial civil servants in Sudbury. Giroux, who is leaving to run Ottawa's hospital, Hôpital Montfort, I hope I pronounced that okay, made $368,953, a nice even number, as president of and CEO of Health Sciences North, plus another $80,000 as president and CEO of Health Sciences North Research Institute. I like that. He always has multiple revenue streams. He's really
what a smart guy. Is he the guy that used to work for Laurentian?
Yeah, he's the
good riddance.
president,
riddance.
CEO
Adios,
of
amigos.
Laurentian. The views and expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect that of Laurentian University or those of CKLU. They are that entirely of this show and the contributors to this show. So I just wanted to make that clear for sure. I think it's still legal to have an opinion. As a result, he earned more than $449,000 in 2022. So $450,000, which would have a lot of taxes taken off that he probably brought home 200 and some thousand. Just for the record.
I'm happy about that.
HSN Senior Vice President Mark Hartman made $280,000. HSN Senior Vice President CEO Max Ledke earned $276,000, and registered nurse Brenda Sluchuk.
Ooh, I just found her on Facebook.
She took home $228,000. About a fifth of the hospital's employees earned $100,000 or more last year. You hear that? About a fifth of the hospital's employees earned $100,000 or more last year. 794 out of about 4,000 employees earned over $100,000.
Well,
you'd expect that in a way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of doctors.
What do you figure would be good?
Yeah. Long hours too. They're working. It's a good job. You need a good education. So you would hope that you make over $100,000.
So Dr. Penny Sutcliffe didn't make as much this year, unfortunately. I don't think you're going to see her at the food bank anytime soon, but she made about half of what she made the previous year. Medical Officer of Health and Chief Executive Officer of Public Health, Sudbury and Districts was another top earner with $365,000 a year. That's $1,000 per day.
Well,
so she makes $1,000.
I don't know. What do you figure is a good rate for somebody in that position?
I don't know. That's the thing. Yeah. It's there's points of view on this. I remember I had speaking with a friend of mine last night about I think all politicians should be volunteers, and he says all politicians should get paid way more than what they get paid now. So we're like totally on the different end of the spectrum. But he had a lot of great points, to which I said, you know what, you could be right. So it was just my opinion.
I think it does correlate. Like I've seen something like a look at that in the world where you've seen like it's very it correlates. The corruption level correlates to how much money politicians make. So if it gets too on the cheap, they start pulling in other revenue streams, right?
Seems to be healthcare in Sudbury really gets a lot. Healthcare, education, government. A lot of money, really. It's a lot of. So the dean of NOSM almost makes as much as Penny Sutcliffe, maybe $20,000 less. Carrie Gervais, CEO of St. Joseph Health Center, $232,000. Former Laurentian President Robert Hache, a meager $269,000. Collège Boreal President Danielle Giroux, no relation to Dominic Giroux, $261,000. Bill Best, former Cambrian College president, $255,000, and the list goes on. So if you're interested in that, just go on our Facebook page, check out who made what, who made who made you, who made God the devil, and who made who. Who sings that song? Who sings that song, Nick?
The Who's.
Billy, who sings that song?
It's AC/DC, my friend.
Oh, AC/DC. All right.
Moving on.
Sorry, Nick. Just sound is just like, not good. I might try and get a different buzzer that doesn't sound.
No, it's good. It's
good.
You
don't mind it? Okay.
No, not at all.
I thought your feelings might have been hurt, or I don't want to hurt anyone else's feelings.
I'm annoyed of this list. Like, oh, whatever. Let's not give them more publicity. Who cares? We're all paying for it. If we want to do something about it, we got to call and email our MPs and let them know that we are disgusted by the list. We got to do something about it. So if you care that much, if you're really angry, just call and write some emails.
Well, all we know is they got to drive over the same bridge of nations that everyone else does to get to work, even if they are making $500,000 a year. Preparation work on the Paris Street Bridge of Nations in Sudbury has closed one lane in each direction. Okay, for how long? This is the thing. I want to get that on the headline here.
The sidewalks remain open, guys.
That's good. So you can walk across, but they're going to be
continue until October 31st.
Halloween. So the whole summer right before winter, this bridge. Oh my goodness. This is going to, oh
my gosh.
Kelly Lake Road is going to be a nightmare. I feel really bad for those who live on Kelly Lake Road. Because other than that, how do you get there other than taking the bypass around the other way to get to the south end? Or you can take
Regent Street
and what is it, Riverside, and you go under the bridge, and then you go on John Street to get around under the bridge. So you go from Brady, Riverside, John Street, and then you're there, right? So that's going to be congested too a lot. A lot of traffic on Riverside.
You have to go through downtown for that kind of.
Yeah, it goes under the bridge on the other side of the train tracks, and then you come out on John Street to get onto by the old the Rainbow building there. It used to be the General Hospital. Okay, so I know Nick was looking forward to this one. Sudbury makes top 10 list for best Canadian cities to survive a zombie apocalypse. But before we get to that, I do have a few comments I just wanted to get to from people. So Dave, maybe check out how many FTFF in Sudbury are making over $250,000. What is FTFF, guys?
No clue.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't check out how many of I know that's probably something simple, but my brain in the morning. So how many people are making $250,000 FTFF? So Vin says, actually just asked for a rebate. Ask a rebate question this morning. Where is the rebate for road tax or fuel that's paid for snowmobilers, quads, dirt bikes, snowblowers, etc.? There aren't. Oh, that aren't driven on roads. Interesting. And then Belinda says, COVID kickback seems to be contagious. Oh, healthcare, the people that are working in the healthcare, possibly Penny Sutcliffe at the time as well, the head of the public health here in Sudbury, over $800,000 during COVID. Makes one question, that's for sure. If there have been, where did that money come from? Why $800,000? Why at that time? If her salary is now only $1,000 a day now. Wonder what benefit to COVID ward patients was even if testing negative repeatedly, knew a few heart attack patients placed on COVID floor. Why? Especially when their ages, categories, they were vulnerable. Yeah. So we do have a follow-up to our discussion yesterday. Hopefully we can get to that. It's 10 minutes long, a little video. We'll get through the zombie apocalypse first. And then I think it's related, though, the video about our follow-up and the zombie apocalypse. So what have you been able to find on the zombie apocalypse, Nick? Why are we in the top 10? I think we're number 8, right?
We're number 8. Number 1 is Edmonton, and it's all based on vulnerability, hideout supplies, safety, and mobility. And the fact that we have 300 lakes helps us. So
zombies can't swim. Is that what they're saying?
Right. So here's the list of 35 Canadians. So it's Edmonton, Saskatoon, Guelph, Calgary, Regina, Winnipeg, Kelowna, and then Sudbury.
Yeah. Well, again, right? So I think if you have a lot of bush around you too, and you can just get out of the city and get to no populated areas, I think that's because Edmonton, think of it. They're so north, and if they go north of them, there's very little around them, right? They're very in the middle of nowhere. I'm surprised Winnipeg's not on that list.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Winnipeg is on the list. It's number 6.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Because again, once you go out, there's not much around it. So once you get out of the city. Interesting stuff.
There's so many zombie movies shot here too. We probably have a lot of zombie experts that we can defer to.
And you can dress up like a zombie and fool them. Like, look, I'm one of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. He's saying the researcher says with COVID, how it's been affecting the entire world. And I think it's the closest our generation has come to an apocalyptic state of some sort. I have my other theories on why we would have a zombie apocalypse, but every movie, what happens in every single movie?
There's
It's
some
because
kind
of
of virus or
liquid that goes
pathogen or
inside of
something.
you
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that's released.
Whether man-made or not or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Can zombies drown? That's a question from Vin. He's a deep thinker,
Yeah,
questioning
I think so.
everything. Yes. Can zombies drown? They can?
Yeah. I'm
Really?
making this up. I have no idea, guys.
Okay. That is a question for a zombie expert. Maybe we'll have to have a zombie expert on the show sometime. Because really, we need to know that if it's going to happen here, at least we know we're in the top 10 of Canadian cities to deal with the problem.
Okay. Big cities are bad because there's going to be way more zombies. So population density is not a good idea. So you don't want to live in the city.
No, get out of the city, guys. If you ever see somebody asking you, if they can have a little bit of your brains, if you don't mind, time to get out of the city. So, evidence against Sudbury murder. Are we good to move on now, or do we have any more zombie?
I'm out of zombie stuff.
Okay. Evidence against Sudbury murder suspect overwhelming, Crown tells jury. Monday afternoon in the Robert Stephen Wright murder trial, arguing evidence against him is overwhelming. Agreed or not? Does he have a lot of evidence against him from what we've been able to gather so far on the show?
I thought there's a substantial, reasonable doubt in this situation.
Oh, you do?
A scary
okay.
thing, guys.
Yeah. So,
I guess, well, maybe if he didn't really do it, but like, I don't know. I would have to look more into it, but it looks like it's just his, oh, sorry, I was young and I did this work on her. Like just the whole nails. I know a few people have been listening in because you could watch online and listen into the court.
Yeah.
Right?
So the
but they also said like the nails didn't have any damage. It could be, just DNA that came across his fingertips.
I don't know. I've seen some tough nails before. Women with tough nails.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't necessarily have to have damage to nails.
I do jujitsu.
Yeah.
I do jujitsu and I'm grabbing people all the time and it doesn't damage my nails.
Yeah. Well, to me, you kind of have these two people who are on the scene and two blood trails in two different directions, and one of these guys is somebody who has a lengthy criminal record, is known to be crazy with knives. He steals stuff from porn store, right? A couple days later, it's like.
Is that the John Federley person you're speaking of, Billy? The person they originally arrested? Okay. Because that's what the defense attorney did. He brought back up that particular name that he was originally charged for the crime. And where the Crown just said there's so much evidence so you can't deny it. And he was rebutting a lot of the defense's stories. But yeah, they're kind of going on the fact that it's probably John Federley, not Stephen Wright.
Oh, did he have any DNA on him? Or on her of him?
I don't know. They didn't mention that. And that's the other thing too. Like the Crown didn't bring him back to ask any questions, and you can kind of see
all
that
very odd.
It's very odd, but you can, you see early on how that the one guy was trying to say he saw Federley, and it says the police actually lied to him, said, no, it's not Federley. He was in custody at the time. When that wasn't true. He goes, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Federley though. And they said, well, we're going to charge you for harassing the police not harassing the police, but I forget what the charge was. If you keep saying it's this guy. So, I think the investigation isn't quite as blind justice as it should be.
They tried to coerce that witness into continuing with the story, even though they were saying, you know what, I don't really remember now, which is police do. They want to get their guy. They want to make sure the public is at ease and whatever, even if it's not the right one. Unfortunately, there's a strong motivation for police just to get a guy and just keep everybody calm. Go ahead, Nick.
It's true. Okay, so there's this show that my neighbor told me about. It's called Adventures with Purpose. And it's these divers that go and find dead bodies or just pull out vehicles out of the water. And there's so many cases where these police officers had 100 hours looking for the individuals, and they went in, and within 10 minutes, they find the body.
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing for the police officers. So I'm just saying, police officers aren't always right, and they don't, they're regular humans, and they also pay, like, these guys do everything volunteer, so there's no other reason of not finding the individual or whatnot.
There's no strings attached or anything.
No strings attached. So you, Billy, discussing this other story kind of changes the whole story, which now I'm like, okay, I don't even know where I stand anymore.
Well, and that's what I noticed on social media too. A lot of people are saying, look, he's guilty. Like there's people on both sides of the fence here, and they're both equally as convicted on, that's no pun intended, on who the perpetrator was. So a lot of people, he's definitely not guilty, and a lot of people, he's so guilty. And yeah, so it's up to the jury. And again, right, juries don't always make the right decision. Judges don't always make the right decision. It's going to be the decision no matter what, though. Whatever the jury has heard in this trial, it's up to them to make a consensus on whether or not there was enough evidence to convict Robert Stephen Wright. Unfortunately, if he wasn't guilty, if they didn't hear an argument that was strong enough that proved his innocence, or at least, is it beyond a reasonable doubt in Canada, or do you have to prove it? I know in the States it's beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know if it's exactly the same in Canada.
Beyond a reasonable doubt was mentioned in the article. So
okay, so Vin says, I'm not 100% in either direction, but haven't followed it. Yeah, in its entirety, exactly. The Sweeney family deserve 100%.
100% of what?
Yeah, well, they deserve to have justice done.
Oh yeah,
get the right person. But it's true. I agree with Vince. So it's up to the jury here. If I was on the jury, obviously I'd be really, really going with the evidence and really, grappling with everything and not wanting to put an innocent man in jail. Well, because he was originally charged. Oh yeah, why wasn't he part of the trial, kind of thing?
Yeah.
He'd have to have his own separate trial. He was not charged. The charges were dropped.
Oh.
So he doesn't have a trial, right? But they did arrest and charge Robert Stephen Wright with the murder, and he's on trial. So if he's let go, like, let's say for some reason he was found innocent and they reopened the case, they very well possibly could charge or have a trial for, what's his name again?
Yeah, there was some mention in the article that I read about, like, that was a criticism that the prosecution didn't bring in federally. So I'm not too sure what they would bring him in on, like, to question, but because I don't know if that is a thing or not, but no, I can't find it right now.
And now Cliff is also saying it's been a long time, right? So it's been a long time. And the cops could have picked some random Joe out of a crowd and mob justice would still be a factor. And Belinda's saying sometime so the thing is here, it's importance. Sometimes
something of importance. I bet you that's just
is mishandled. Yes, things of importance are mishandled by the police, and that is true. And I think that even happened in this case. Like, evidence was not handled properly at the time, and even the notes and even some of their tactics at investigating, they could have done a better job. And to Nick's point of these people who go diving, they are experts in this too. Like, so this is what they specialize in. They do that over and over. And our police don't have as much specialized units that only deal with the, like we're just trying to get a homicide unit here now. We don't have, just homicide alone, just dealing with murders.
Exactly.
So Sudbury Wildlife Rescue helping injured lynx. I think that's just cool. Had two broken legs, I think. But two 2 broken legs. Now they're bringing him back to health, which is great. I don't know. I wouldn't want one of those around my animals, to tell you the truth, but they're definitely awesome looking and fierce looking creatures, just awesome looking. If that's something. Now, I shared speaking of wildlife, I think, Nick, you already looked at this video.
Yeah,
I don't know if Billy's seen it, but it was
see it.
From someone who liked our show yesterday, and then I went on their Facebook page and they had this. I just think it's cool. It's a bear just wandering along, yada, yada, yada. What do I see here? Oh, I see a cone.
Oh.
What am I going to do with it? Oh,
Let's
fell
just
over.
put it back up.
There we go.
And nudge it with my head properly.
right.
And keep them all day. We
Isn't that
all
just-
need to be more like this bear.
Isn't that the coolest?
The coolest.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share that just for anyone who didn't catch that on our Facebook page. Just kind of really cool. Now, if you weren't on the show yesterday, it was a little bit of a heated topic about schools are really clamping down on children who may, or parents who are reluctant to get their children up to date with all their vaccinations and things. And so one of the people who's a good friend of mine seemed to be, the way the conversation was going was triggered at some particular point. Oh, no problem, Belinda. So seemed to be triggered at some of the things we were talking about and felt that we were just sharing maybe our own point of view on what we just went through with the pandemic and vaccinations. And this particular person is very pro with, the solutions that we had. And that's great. And I applaud the fact that we're able to choose what we do. And that's what I really hope that people can do. But when it gets to be the point where you're forcing someone to do something, that's when I start taking, don't force me to do anything. And that's just not right at all. Just on any level, it's not right to force anyone at any time, especially governments forcing anyone to do anything. So if I feel my health is in danger and you offer me a solution and you say it does all these things, it's my choice whether I take this. You don't say, I'm going to fire you if you don't. I'm going to close, you won't be able to play hockey. You won't be able to go to the store. You can't go to the show. Can't get food at the grocery store. You start saying stuff like that, now you're forcing, and I don't think that's cool. So anyways, he said we're sharing our own opinion, things like that. And so I just, again, I don't want to just share my own opinion. I want to share an expert, and there's many experts out there saying many different things. And so I thought I'd share one. Just listen to this person's credentials, and if you can catch what this person, if this is a person you would trust with this kind of information or not. And again, you don't have to listen to him, or you do listen to him. Just take it in, see what he has to say, take it in stride. We'll be back right after this.
I think most of us are familiar with you from the Senate hearings and the widely circulated Joe Rogan interview. It was about a year ago. But I'd love it if you could tell my audience a bit about yourself and how your credentials as an epidemiologist and cardiologist have led you to your current viewpoints, particularly with regard to the pandemic response and the vaccine.
Well, I'm delighted to be on the program. I'm Dr. Peter McCullough. I'm a practicing internist and cardiologist in Dallas, Texas, and I hold degrees from Baylor University, University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas. I finished top of my class. The University of Michigan for graduate school in epidemiology, and Southern Methodist University for graduate liberal arts studies, a degree I got later on in life. Completed my residency at University of Washington in Seattle, my cardiology fellowship at what's now the Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine. I held a variety of academic positions over the course of my career. I was a chief academic scientific officer for Ascension Health, a chief of cardiology at a major university. And when the COVID-19 hit, I redirected all of my cardiovascular and internal medicine research towards the virus and the viral pandemic. And I started with understanding the epidemiology of it. That means the distribution and determinants of disease. Quickly organized with Italians and other colleagues across the United States and the world to come up with treatment protocols, and then worked with community doctors to validate that they worked, that they reduced hospitalizations and deaths. And that took me through a whole series of interactions with the White House and the U.S. Senate. And then I moved on during the next years of the pandemic to really focus on safety and efficacy of the various products, the genetic products that were introduced and later on became mandated for people to take.
I think we're in a very different position now than we were when you did the Rogan episode. And we have a considerable amount of data reflecting the dangers of the vaccine now. And this is largely unrecognized by public officials. I did see recently that the CDC and the FDA, they've begun to tentatively investigate the bivalent Pfizer shot's role. I think it's in a ischemic strokes in over 65s, but they've only conceded that there may be a link in those over 65 between 1 and 3 weeks post-vaccination compared to 4 to 6. This is such a small cohort of people. This is not what the general public is particularly concerned about. I think most of the concern is related to long-term effects in the young. So I just wanted to get into it. Can you break down the newest and most convincing research that has been shared about the vaccine and the effects it's having on young and healthy individuals?
I said on national TV over the last several years, particularly on Laura Ingraham, I'm a frequent contributor on Fox, the Ingraham Angle. I told Laura, I think the CDC and FDA and NIH, they're running 18 months behind in interpreting the data. I mean, that was such a tepid, concern that they're looking into it now. There's over 1,250 peer-reviewed publications on COVID-19 vaccine injuries, disabilities, and deaths. 1,250 papers. They have a lot of papers to read to catch up on this safety disaster. Let me just take stroke as an example. Dag Berhild and colleagues published in JAMA, a widely read journal from 3 Nordic countries, and they reported on 7,750 neurologically devastating strokes that happened within 28 days of taking a COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, we don't have to go too far. The analyses are right there. They're in the peer-reviewed literature. What we know from our U.S. sources of data, our VAERS system, Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, through January now, the CDC is telling us over 16,000 Americans have died within a few days of taking the vaccine. And what we know in VAERS is 86% of the time, the doctors or the nurses or the coroners are reporting it. We make our VAERS report under threat if anything's falsified of imprisonment or federal fine. So what's in the VAERS system is verified. It is legitimate. It's serious. It's shocking that I'm here telling you that 16,000 Americans have lost their lives shortly after taking one of these injections. And we have so much collateral damage, hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations and ER visits. We have thousands and thousands of cases of myocarditis, blood clots, heart attacks, neurologic injury. The data keep pouring in. The CDC has a voluntary reporting system called vSafe, and they didn't want to release those data to America. And so under court order, they had to release it to the NGO ICANN. And in the vSafe data, this was stunning. 7 to 8% of people who take one of these products has to go to the emergency room or urgent care immediately because they're so ill. Some are hospitalized. 25% are incapacitated that day or the day after. I mean, these are stunning government sources of data indicating the vaccines they're simply not safe.
Okay, and so with that, we'll have to leave that there because he goes on then, she asks him about the recent, all of these top of their game athletes dropping like flies and what is his point of view of that. I shared the video in the chat, so if anyone wants to see the entire video. I just stumbled upon this particular video here, and I just thought it just clearly sets out from someone who does have the experience, who has talked with Congress, who's obviously has the education in the background and the experience, and alludes to all of the papers that have been written on this from universities. And I know Miles also shared there's many university studies that show that his point that they are safe and effective. So he's also saying there's many 800 papers that say that they're not. So I just wanted to show that as well, that that's not just us making things up here. And I think I've got to do a better job a lot of times to show at least data like this as we're talking, because I just study it. And I know a lot of us do spend a lot of time studying this stuff. And then we talk about it like everyone, it's just common knowledge. So I think I got to do a better job sharing stuff like this. Last words, Nick, and we got to go. And Billy.
Great show, Aaron. You just got to do a better job moving forward,
Appreciate that. Right answer.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're doing good, Aaron.
Yes,
well,
you are.
Appreciate it, guys. No, you appreciate you being here today. It's not easy to do the show. It's not easy to kind of be on your game. You know that this is going to live forever on social media as well. And so we're always trying to say, be as clear as we can with our points of view. And it's not easy. This guy is regularly on Fox, and we all know Fox is known for only the accurate news. And that is not true either. Fox is not always accurate. However, I would say Fox is about 65% accurate. CNN possibly 15% accurate from what I've been able to see. A great show. Thank you, guys. We all appreciate you. Thanks for being with us. Have a great week as well. Thank you. We just really appreciate the conversation. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you. See ya. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thanks.